Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Is your main man, a.k.a. Crazy Croc, a.k.a. Andre's Podcast, brought to you by anyone that's listening to my podcast. I'd like to thank Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, other platforms, iBooks, people listen to iBooks, I guess, and RSS.com. Again, folks, I'm going to put this on video. I got my audio. You can watch it on YouTube, the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. It's got a Detroit Tiger logo onto it because I'm a Tiger fan, and we're all about to make the playoffs. Hopefully, if we win most of the games against Tampa Bay and Minnesota loses along with Kansas City, it makes it better for us. But today we're going to have my buddy back on the show, Ron.
Hey Dre, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Good seeing you again.
It's been a while. It's been a while because you've been busy.
Yeah, busy.
You've
Just
been
getting
ready for life, and you're going to places and seeing new people again.
Going to Pittsburgh.
He's going to Pittsburgh.
In fact, yeah.
I think we're going. Because we're going to go this way. We're going to start this way. So, Ron has muscular dystrophy, and I finally said that right for the first time.
Well, it's just Beckers, but yeah, you got it right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So, for those who do not know, Ron's going to explain to you what it is, just what it is.
Well, I can do it in a nutshell. I'm not going to get scientific here or doctor-like, but basically, you're born with a disease of your muscles atrophy, which means they deteriorate slowly, depending on who you are and how much exercise you have. Then that depends on how long. Now I'm just starting to get weaker, and I'm 63. So, but everybody is different. I saw a man that was like, oh God, he had to be 77, I believe. He was doing okay, but he was in much worse shape than I am. So it's not really anything to look forward to. But like I said earlier, everybody's different. We all do the same thing, but we do it in different degrees or different strengths. We're all not exactly the same, but there is a general diagnosis would be Beckers. It's weakness. When you're younger, there can be learning disabilities. So it's not just muscles, it's your brain, it's your heart. I have cardiomyopathy. So a lot of people that have Beckers have cardiomyopathy.
What's that?
It's a heart condition. It's your heart has like a arrhythmia to it, I guess, or it's not. It needs medication to keep beating correctly. So you don't want to. It's a muscle. So with like any muscle, it deteriorates. And so if you have muscular dystrophy, your heart will eventually. You'll have heart disease. I got cardiomyopathy. Now with medication, and if you take care of yourself, which I try to do, but I'm not perfect, but nobody is, you shouldn't have any problem with it. So that's basically in a nutshell, if I get real scientific. But you can live a normal, happy life with taking your medications and taking care of yourself. Don't take any chances. Don't fall. Don't. You can break your bones. Matter of fact, it's how I ran into Dre again. When I was in the hospital, I broke my femur. And that was a long challenge. And believe me, hospitals are not fun. And I'm sure everybody can relate with that. I just try to, keep going. And, that's it in a nutshell, though.
So basically, let's go back to that heart. What's that?
Cardiomyopathy, yes.
Myopathy. So basically, what he's trying to tell you is that your heart has issues with pumping the blood in and out correctly.
Yes.
So you have to be on medication for that. Well, what I want to know, were you doing any meds for that years ago, or this is most recently?
I had a heart attack about, I'm going to say 3 years ago. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, it was a mild one, thank God. Pain in the chest, shoulders hurt. The wife says, hey, we better check out. All right, so we go, and I did have them. So from that time on, now I'm on medication. Now I'm on a blood thinner. Now I'm on a clopidogrel or whatever it was that I was on. I'm off and on medications, but with proper medication and good health, and like I said, I'm not perfect. You don't necessarily have to exercise. Exercise for me would be rolling across in my chair. That's what I do. It's just my arms. I don't really move my legs. I can't exercise.
Well, you can't move your legs because your legs don't work.
Now, with exercise, there's a big controversy, but I'll explain it the best I can. Muscular dystrophy, you can keep your muscles toned, which means the more you use them, the slower they're going to deteriorate, or less atrophy. And the more you don't use them, if you just sit in a chair all day and do nothing, they're going to weaken quicker because you're not keeping your activity and your exercise, I guess it were, would be just to keep them toned. And now they're going to atrophy slower than they would, say, if you just sat there. So there's a big difference in that. So I try to stay active, and I do. I wash dishes, I clean certain things, best I can do. But the trick is just to stay active. That's it. There's no per se exercise, because it's not going to build anything. It'll keep it toned, but you can't build muscle. I don't care what they say, unless they come out with a cure for it. They're going to but there's no cure for it. It's you have it. But it depends. Like I said earlier, everybody's different. They all have their own timeline. Nobody's the same. Matter of fact, a good buddy of mine, we'll call him Mr. S, had cancer. He beat that, luckily. Hope I didn't get it. But see, with everything, you just got to watch your health. You just, once you stay on top of that, you go to your doctor, you make sure you're doing that. I mean, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody is, but yeah, I'd recommend that, just to stay alive, basically. And to keep surviving.
So you're going to Pittsburgh, and this is your second time around.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to talk about Beckers
in general, but there's other categories they found. They also cover mental health issue, because we do have problems. I mean, depression is a number one key in our situation. And there's doctors that discuss that. There's doctors that discuss your health. There's doctors that, and it's very good information, but it can be kind of boring, because if you ever listen to a doctor drone on and on about something and point to a chart, it's just kind of, it can be interesting, but after a while you kind of, but it's educational. And then at the end, there's a part where people can get together and, compare notes or talk to each other, or just, like a socialized kind of thing. At the end.
Of course.
That's the best part of it, I think. That's the part I enjoy the most. So.
Well, that's the part that you go and meet people that you talked to last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you make connections with them a couple times within a year.
Right.
And you haven't really got an opportunity to reconnect with them, besides maybe a couple phone calls.
Sure, and that's or online. You can go online, or there's places called Beckers. I think it's called. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me think of this a minute. It's a Beckers page. I think it's called. Oh, geez, I want to quote this here. I won't quote the wrong one, but anyway, it's
And we get it.
Yeah,
it's something that's
Beckers.
out there.
You look it up, you'll find it. You know what I'm talking about. It's the only one.
So, going to this thing, you're really just going there to not really learn new information, but maybe get contact with new people.
Yeah,
and that.
right. Yeah, that's
your
you make
buddy
new friends that way. Yeah.
That sold you the big red machine.
Yeah. Well, they actually donated.
Donated
God bless them, but yeah.
the van.
Mhm.
He's going there as well.
Yep, he's going to be there. Actually, matter of fact, I talked to him last night, and he said I said, by the way, are you? Yeah, I'm going and bringing the kids and stuff. So he's from Michigan also. He's from the Detroit area, Beverly Hills, I believe, neighborhood just outside Detroit. Real nice neighborhood. So he's going to be there too. It's I think it's 8 to 5 hour drive, depending on traffic, which isn't bad. Now this year what's different is, instead of having your venue at the hospital or university or whatever it is, they have it right there at the hotel that we're staying in, which is so convenient. I mean, there's no driving involved, there's no parking, you're right there. And that makes it better. So it seems like every year it gets much better than it was the year previous. And now they're the first one I went to was in Chicago. It was good, and we had a little bit to get together after the fact, but it was only maybe an hour, maybe half an hour at that. There was wine and coffee or whatever beverages, you get fed, they have lunch.
So this is your third time?
This would be my, let's see, I'm going to say 4th or 5th time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not this particular area, but I've been in, let's see, there was...
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've been to, let me quote this here. Of course, I've been to Pittsburgh, We've been to Minnesota, University of Minnesota, Medical University of Minnesota, Chicago, like I said, and there's another one too, and I'm trying to think of where it is. I don't want to quote it. I want to quote wrong, but
well, this is the second. Excuse me, but
yeah.
this is the second time you've been at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's the second time. Yeah.
So
which is
I
great.
wonder if this is the home base for.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of times there'd be people from that area, which is nice. See, we've never really had one in Michigan, I don't believe.
No.
Not yet. But I'm going to assume it would probably be somewhere near Detroit, I'm going to guess. Maybe. I can't say that, but that would be nice. So that way, if you do live in the area, it's a short drive. Now, for me, Pittsburgh, that's 5 to 8 hours, which is fine. That's not a big deal. There's some people that are from that. Okay, Steve and I, he's the only one that I know that's going. I got another friend, I was going to call him, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him. But yeah, he may go too. He might not go. Not everybody makes it. It depends on where you live. Like they had one in Texas and one in California. So I went to the one in Minnesota. They had one day they pick out, and this same day they simulcast this from different states, all into one. So what happens is when you do your Q&A, it's on a screen, and like your screen where you get these little squares that light up the yellow, it tells you who's talking and where they're coming from. So that's kind of interesting too. So you can kind of be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
You're not physically there, but which is kind of interesting too. So that worked out good too. Yeah, they're really a good thing to look forward to.
Yeah. So a lot. I mean, it's amazing that for you, at least you have something to connect with other people with the same type of disability. You're very. I don't think lucky is a good word. It's very nice that
I find a good word that a lot of people use, and some people are kind of religious blessed. I think that's
you're blessed.
And, that doesn't really mean religion. That means that things are going good for you. You should be happy with what you got. You're blessed. Count your blessings. You know, that's main key. So yeah, that's a lot of it too.
So that's pretty cool that you and your wife can go out there. You can both drive, but you're going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive. I got
just because you want to control on the road.
I like that.
No, funny.
I got another friend too. He likes to drive. We were talking this a couple of weeks ago. I called him, and he was his name's John. And he says, "Yeah, you know, I really enjoy driving. I mean, that's one of the privileges that we still have that we still can do. And if you can't, it kind of sucks because then you got to depend on other people. They got to load you in. You don't want to be a hassle. You don't want to be a burden, as it were. Some people say. But,
that's cool, man.
But the main thing about the whole thing is that we're all in the same boat. We all can relate. We all can. It's people that you can hang out with. You know, it's almost like it could be almost like a nationality, or you've got your. We're all have ethnic or any ethnic group. It's that tight kind of relation. Yeah, it's a family. Although we're not blood related, or we can be. There are people, brothers and sisters, that have it too. But the thing is you're all in the same boat, so you have an understanding. You can say, "Hey, this happened before." "Oh yeah, I've experienced everything," and that's what makes you even stronger. When our one in Minnesota, if I remember right, there was a young man there about in his 20s. And he was telling about how that this is the first time where he's been able to communicate and talk to people like him and experience that. Because in his area, in my area, I would think there'd only be 3 people that I know of. That was me, Steve, and another guy, I can't remember his name, I'm not going to say it, but within our area.
Yeah.
We're all over the United States, but it depends on where you're from. So, you say, "Hey, where am I?" "Oh, I'm from Texas," or "I'm from whatever. But it's all one community. It's we're all together in it. So.
Yeah, I think to me it's kind of cool that you can connect with people with mind disability. It's very different.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of people in your situation because you're like a one of a kind. We'll say. I mean,
I think the brain activity based on you can have a stroke. And 2 people can have a drastic difference between strokes. One can be severe disability mentally or cognitive intelligence.
Cognitive, yeah.
And the other one could be less or more, and it's very difficult to have a conversation with the same person or
Right.
with that person
Mhm.
within the same brainwave. I would call it the brainwave of it.
Yes.
So we're so distant apart from each other
Mhm.
because even though you can have a stroke in a different time period of life,
Mhm.
a 20-year-old kid who maybe got into a car accident
Sure, it happens, yeah.
in a stroke and doing a car accident
Right.
or something, he is going to be totally different than someone who's 65 years old that had a stroke because of old age or of bad diets or whatever. And that connection isn't really there with Beckham.
Beckers, yeah.
Beckers. I
Yeah.
can't come back.
That's okay. No.
So Beckers, and you can actually, there's a kind of like solid base ground
Mhm.
that everyone kind of understands,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really affect your cognitive intelligence. Maybe there's
Mhm.
some learning disability, but there's not a drastic between someone who's like severely mentally gone and someone who's like,
Right.
oh, I'm totally here, I know what I'm doing. I
You're
know
totally
what I'm doing."
functional. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
The regular normal. Well, I wouldn't say normal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. We all do. Yeah. I get
So,
that.
so that's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
so moving on from that, we'll just move on
Yeah. All right.
from MD and Beckers. We eat at Grand
yeah,
Rapids
yeah.
restaurants
Yeah.
a lot,
Talk about we mentioned.
and we do breakfast just about everywhere. We did Good Trucking. We did
That's a good one. Yeah.
Bird.
Mhm. Early bird.
We've done Wolfgang's.
Yep.
We ate at
A couple of
at
new beginnings, but I don't know if we're going to include those anymore. They're.
well, this is a general.
Yeah. I mean, if it's nothing
And
to
then we
brag
get
about.
Grand Colony in Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
The
pretty good.
place that we ate today was at
Basalt.
Basalt.
Yes, down East Grand Rapids.
Yeah, on Wealthy.
East Town, sorry, East Town.
On Wealthy,
Yeah,
right?
Wealthy. Right across from I can't remember the name of.
Well,
place
it's
that's weird looking,
basically
kinda.
Cubby Corner across Yesterdog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's the
amazing.
best place
Yeah.
to conserve for anyone that knows East Grand Rapids.
Prices are pretty good.
Down the street is Mulligan's and the Easttown Sports Bar that used to be the intersection.
Mhm.
Not big fans of that Eastern sports bar because
Right.
I love the inside of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like the staff.
Right.
I think
That's,
the
no,
staff-
I know what you mean. I get
I don't
that. Yeah.
I don't think you've ever been there, but
No, I haven't. No.
that's probably, and I'm old school to say that back in the day,
Right.
that the intersection on Wealthy is a lot better than the one on Granville, Chevette
Right.
Street,
Mhm.
near 131.
Okay. Sure.
But going back to the restaurant,
Okay.
I love the setting. I love the food. The coffee. I had the spicy.
Yeah, I'll have
I had
to
a
try that
spicy mocha.
next time.
No, spicy chocolate, dark chocolate
So
mocha.
it would be like we'll say like not a Mexican restaurant, but like a brunch. It's basically brunch in a sense.
But
right?
it was
It's
Mexican.
But it was Mexican. It's like I had the chorizo. I can't remember what it's called, but it was a homemade corn tortilla, but not in packaged.
Yeah.
It had rough edges on it with chorizo. It was
Yeah.
very good. It was really they're fresh ingredients. There's no good food service there.
No.
It's all scratch and fresh, which is great. Now,
Yeah.
in that situation, you're probably going to pay a little bit more, but it's worth it. Now, you can't. Yeah, I spent I think mine was like 10 something, 12 something, which is not too bad. But you can go spend more. You get different coffee selections. It can be pricey if you want to, but you have that option to where you don't have to spend all that money. You can go on the cheap, which is fine.
Exactly.
But the food's good. It was really
Exactly.
good. So that's Basalt. That's another one.
Basalt.
I think
Salt.
it's BASALT. I think
Say that again. What was it?
Basalt.
Basalt.
I believe it's BASALT, like with salt on
Okay.
it. It could be different. I don't remember, but anyway,
So
good place.
that's probably one of those things that we're going to bring up here and there every time I try out new restaurants, new place to eat. I sometimes go out to eat myself.
Right.
But there's another breakfast place that we gotta go to.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the West Side Cafe. It's probably one of the older breakfast places.
Mm-hmm.
From Tuesday to Sunday or Saturday.
All right.
Closes on Monday. But you like that place?
Okay.
It's
I probably like it. Yeah.
kind of reminds me of Mr. Burger and Russ's and Grand Coney all put together.
Wow.
Little old, little new, but it's been there forever.
Yeah, that Russ's too. It's been there forever. But the food. Matter of fact, we the wife and I did get Russ's yesterday afternoon. And their green pepper, their stuffed pepper soup is fantastic. And I had the meatloaf stacker. I don't know if you've had that. What that is, it's Texas toast with strawberry jelly. I know it sounds weird. Mashed potato, or it's Texas toast covered with strawberry jam or grape. A piece of meatloaf, already cooked meatloaf on top.
Oh.
Mashed potatoes, beef gravy,
Oh my
3 onion rings.
Oh my
It's
Lord.
wonderful. And I ate half of it. It's a bread that's filling. It's a Texas toast. You got thick, Texas toast is really thick bread. It's about this thick.
Yeah.
And it's really good though. But I'll tell you, now I got the bowl of soup and not the cup. Now had I got the cup, I probably would ate the whole thing. But I got the bowl, and that's a lot of soup, so I couldn't eat the whole thing. But that's good. I'd recommend that. That's one of my favorites.
I don't know how this guy eats so much food, dude. I don't know how you eat that much food. My body.
We're different about eating. Yeah.
If I eat breakfast, you don't eat breakfast, but when I eat
I do.
breakfast,
Yeah, I eat breakfast. Oh yeah.
So when I eat breakfast, which technically you can argue if you need to, not to.
Yeah.
But I eat breakfast in the morning. And then I don't usually eat lunch at work. But it's amazing that if I eat breakfast in the morning, if my food is just as much as yours, I won't eat for the rest of the day. I just can't. I have to work out.
But it's different.
I'm going to have to just work out.
No, that's fine. I mean, and what's, even if you're not supposed to skip breakfast, but I'm a religious breakfast guy, I gotta have breakfast, otherwise I get sick. I do. I can't have an empty stomach.
Oh.
So in the morning, I'm incredibly hungry. I got a fast metabolism too. That doesn't help either. I mean, I can't really gain weight anymore. It just kind of burns off, which is a good thing. But like I said, if your diet's going to be different, now you're eating less, and there's that less food that's not good for you. Like matter of fact, earlier we were talking about processed foods, which my neighbor does a lot, and he's 70 now, and he's got cancer and. And I think a lot of that, eating that processed crap, that frozen shit, sorry, pardon my French, but it's not good for you at all.
No,
I mean, it's been proven fact. I mean, it'll keep you alive, but it's not good for you. In the long run, you're going to have complications. He's got high cholesterol. Yeah. So you got to take care of yourself.
So
whether you're normal or not.
Well, of course. So from this point, instead of talking about side restaurants like Russ's and fast food joints, we'll talk about records.
Oh yeah.
Right now, well, you know what, folks? This guy next to me, he decided to like, hey man, so the neighbor of mine, he might give me his record stuff, hopefully.
Album collection, yeah.
Collection. And I'm starting to think to myself, well, I have room for a record.
Yeah.
A record player.
There you go. Yeah.
As most of you guys know from all the podcast episodes that I bought a record player, speaker, surround sound. I'm spending so much money on like, in the last 5 years, I spent $900 on this Mac Air. I bought this whole get-up, the original speakers.
It came as a set speakers. You have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No.
Was that 5 speakers that came with a set? They're all Kenwoods, right?
Well, this is what I'm going to get there.
Right.
But when I'm talking about my entertainment stuff, I'm talking about my Mac Air 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then I decided, hey, I want to start a podcast.
Right.
And then I bought the speakers that were $40 each,
Right.
and then this arm thing in January here. Both are two different companies,
Yeah.
so I can't really.
Like booms.
So I bought both of them, both about $20 and $30. Well, I think about $20 each.
Yeah.
So 980. So and then the arms $20 each. So I'm already about over $1,000.
Right.
And then I decided to buy my Focusrite, which is I use to record my audio and use my computer, so it's an audio interface. And I love this thing. I'll probably have to get something a little bigger so I can connect it to my iPad better.
Right.
But as of right now, I'm just gonna keep it the way it is.
That's fine, yeah.
And so here this is. I've got this, I got that. It cost me roughly about $1,200 on just this stuff.
That's not.
Which is not.
No, that's not bad.
Well, it's not bad, but I'll tell you what. For someone that's not making money off,
Well, yeah.
it sounds pretty ridiculous. And then this guy over here next to me, like, hey man, subconsciously you should buy a record player. We can play records at your place.
Yeah.
So he was brainwashing me, like, hey man, it's cool. The music sounds better, bro. You can listen to.
Oh, you call it brainwashing. I just call it suggestion, but.
I'm calling it brainwash.
Okay.
Because I'm like, hey, you're right. Maybe I should buy this stuff.
But yeah, but see, and the good thing about it is now I can play my albums because I have a turntable at home. It's just a little Crosley. It's got a tiny little speaker on it, and you're like, hey, how's your stereo? And so we talked to a buddy of mine. Got the turntable didn't work out, but we could. What's the place you got it from? Is called what's it called? Renew.
No, so
Comp Renew.
So
yes.
so I bought the record player from the corner record shop.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Okay.
And then I bought the speakers and a subwoofer at Comp Renew, and they kind of recycling, but they refurnish stuff that can be refurnished.
Yeah.
I was just gonna I was just gonna get the subwoofer.
Mm-hmm.
But the subwoofer by himself was going to cost $150.
So he sold you the complete set then?
For $150.
Okay, that's better.
And
that kicks in 4 other speakers.
Yeah, it came with 2, 3. No, it came with 5.
No, and they're in good shape too. They're really lightly used. They're well taken care of. They're not beat up or anything or scratched. They're a little dusty, but other than that, I mean, I think that's the way to go. It's still Kenwood's a good speaker. And even though it's old school, it's not updated and stuff, but it works.
But back then, that's what you do.
Oh, sure, yeah,
your house would be pumping because
you rocking,
I mean, today's era, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds go out, have a social time, come back, listen to music, have some horny ass sex, because people who are in the 40s are lonely and desperate when they divorce, whatever. But that's another story. But and PJ-13, wrap it up, boys and girls, wrap it up. STDs are still out there. So there you go. So that was a national sex education moment brought to you by the government.
Yeah.
Please protect yourself.
Yeah.
Take the night after pill if you have to for your unresponsible parenting skills out there. Might as well say that too, because a lot of you people out there like, I don't care, I'll just get pregnant, and then, oh no, what am I gonna do? All right.
Anyway.
So I went down my little rant.
Yep.
About that, and now we're gonna go back to Ron's. We're gonna go with Ron's records. We're gonna go with his stuff because we're gonna be talking about my stuff and it'll just go on forever.
Okay.
But for the first record, what do you want to show?
Well, I'm going to show a Robin Trower album that's from 1973. Here it is right here. I don't know if you can see it, everybody, but it's right here. You can focus in on that. I don't know. Anyway, 1973 Robin Trower. It's got I'll just list the songs here really quick. Side 1 is Can't Wait Much Longer, Daydream, Hannah, Man of the World, I Can't Stand It, side 2, I Can't Stand It, Rock Me Baby, Twice Removed from Yesterday, Sinner Song, and Ballerina. Okay, but I got this at, where did I get this at? We got this at Vertigo, wasn't it? Yeah, Vertigo, which is only $3.99. Okay.
But let's
so
talk
that's
about the original when you first heard him. How did you hear
Oh,
him?
that was the one. That was the album that had. Sorry, let me put glasses on here. That was the album that had Bridge Over Riverside. It's a real popular Robin Trower song. Robin Trower's kind of blues rock, I guess you could say. Very soul blues, kind of like Stevie Ray Vaughan in a sense, but older, back in the '70s. So it's unique. I like his voice. I like the way he sings. I like the blues rock, I guess I'd call it. So this is a good album too. And I have another one here. It's another Robin Trower.
So the history of when you listen to it, did you just hear it on the radio? Did your friend get it?
No, actually, what it was is that my brother was in Tennessee. That's another, I try to put it in a nutshell, but a member of our family, his best friend that lived across the street, gave my brother that Ridge Over Sigh CD, okay? And then he passed, so my brother still had it. So my brother handed that CD over to me, the Riverside.
Oh.
I don't have that on an album yet, but I want to do that. I want to get another album. Now, we were talking about Vertigo. Now, here's another record I bought at Vertigo, which is the same Robin Trower, different album.
Yeah. What's the name on the album?
For Earth Below.
Earth Below.
Yeah. And this was in 1975, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see here a minute. I'll tell you in a second here. Yeah, 1975.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and say the songs here. We got Side 1, Shame the Devil, It's Only Money, Confessing Midnight, Fine Day. Side 2, Athena, which is a really popular good song. A Tale Untold, Gonna Be More Suspicious, and then of course For Earth Below. Same kind of thing. Now, when we're going to talk back about Vertigo Records again, what's nice about this guy is that you go in, if you bought the album there, you can take this in right now. I could take this in and trade it for another one, the same value. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be Eagles. I don't care what it is, what he has. Pretty much the same price. So I like that because now if you don't like it, you can exchange it. You don't have to buy another one. You could, if you want to. They're only $4. But what I'm saying is if you want to exchange, he has a great exchange program for that.
Well, I think he gets it. He gets the idea that that if you go and get sick of listening to that record, instead of holding it and having it until the day you die, you can go to Vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
He buys new records because it's kind of the main street again.
Right.
Because all the old records are being remastered, and they're selling for about $40 each, 35, 25, depending on the artist, depending on the album itself. It's quite a bit to do that, but he also has records that are not as popular, or have little scratches here, scratches there, and he's honest about it. I bought one of Bob Seger's Silver Bullets.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
I think it's the Night Move.
Night Moves, yeah. Oh, that's
Was
my
it the Night
favorite Bob
Moves
Seger song right there. Oh, yeah.
What's that song?
There's Night Moves. There's
another
Horizontal Bop.
Yeah. Well, there's another one. Still the Same.
Yeah, Still the Same. Yeah.
Something with that song.
There's another good one. Yeah.
So he sold that for like $3.99, and he was honest and said,
that's pretty good.
If you listen to it and there's a scratch on it that's kind of really, really bad, and you can't get over it, you can always return it back to me.
Exchange it. Yeah.
Exchange it for something different. However, I'm the type of guy, when it comes down to an old record like that, I'm not going to bitch about it. Because technically, I could buy that record.
The price you're paying for it is cheap. I mean, that's reasonable.
Well, it's just not reasonable. It's just like today's
Well,
technology.
I think it is.
Today's technology, you can download the song
You can.
for nothing,
You can,
because you can have
right.
Pandora's, you can have
Yeah.
Pandora,
Right.
you can have
Right.
Spotify, you can
Mhm.
have Apple Music, you can have
Like
any
that.
other platform out there to download your favorite songs and albums. I'm old enough just to
Mhm.
remember when record players were just on the way out, and then the tape deck,
Mhm.
and then the CDs were becoming the most popular thing out there because the sound was better. And with the CD, you can go run around, you can take them wherever you want to go. And if you had a CD player that you run and jog or whatever walk, it still worked, but it skipped. So
Right.
you can have headphones on, but
Oh yeah,
it
I remember
works.
when they first came out, the CD players. You put them in your car seat. Didn't have one in the dash yet, but there, and you'd hit a bump, and it would skip, and it would which is okay. But things about albums is that a lot of think, oh, you got to put it on, you got to dust them. They're in jackets, you got to put them away. But the work of it, the sound of it. I'll give you a perfect example. I don't know if you remember the show Everybody Loves Raymond.
Hated it.
When you didn't like it. But anyway,
Hated
what
it.
they did is Frank had this old jazz album collection, like old records like this, okay? They're all scratchy and fizzy and poppy and whatever. But they went and got them all CDs and took away the records. And he they give him the CD player and the CDs, and he goes, "What the hell did you do?" They're going, well, "What do you mean? It's new updated. It's this, it's that. It's updated. It's, let's get with it." He goes, "No, I like the old sound of the crackly poppy records." He says, "Now that's music." And then at the end, he puts a record on. And it's crackly and spuddy, but that is the sound you want. That's that significant sound. You don't get that nowadays. Everything's perfect sounded. You push a button and you get a song. I mean, to me, owning albums and listening to them, that effort, it's just like when we were kids, or when I was a kid. We'd listen to albums. We'd come over to a guy's house. "Hey, I got a new album. Want to listen to it?" Yeah. We'd come over. Or we exchange them. I remember going to school, and he'd bring albums, and we'd exchange them. And we borrow 45s. We used to do that when we were kids. And we used to listen to a lot of records. It was really cool. The only thing about record players is that if you jump, they skip. Nowadays, they have it where it doesn't have that vibration, but the needle would skip or scratch a record. But it's all a part of that thing. That's why I like vinyl. That's why it's coming back. It's so popular. It's really old school. Where it's coming back, and we can still listen to it. I mean, nothing wrong with the new stuff, the CDs and the MP3 players. That's fine if that's what you want. But that's nowadays, kids. That's like we appreciate the older stuff better.
I think with the
that's-
younger kids,
Yeah.
who are in 20s,
Mm-hmm.
who are now in their 30s, but
Right.
about 10 years ago, that's when they were in their 20s, they made it popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just one of those things that you kind of like grow in such an older generation
Right.
that you rediscover new things.
Okay. Sure.
And by rediscovering new things, all these younger kids, oh,
Right.
you guys had this. Oh, you guys had that. Oh, this is so weird. And remember when Kodak's picture,
Kodak. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
when that went out in the starting of 2000s, late 90s, well, in the 2010s,
Mm-hmm.
that started to become more popular again because kids
Right.
started getting into taking personal pictures without their camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then follow suit, it became the records
Mm-hmm.
for music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just different. And I think everything comes back around. Like
Yeah,
someday,
you're right, it
like
does.
I think when I'm like in my 60s,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see 20-year-olds in all full decked out suits
Mm-hmm.
with nice shoes, not like gym shoes, not like khaki shoes, but the old
Yeah.
school. Let's
Yeah.
put some leather on that.
You know what?
shoe
It's
tape.
funny is there's nowadays kids are doing the hippie routine. They're doing the '80s routine. I've seen people dress up like in the '80s. I've seen people dress like up in their 50s. Style is totally different now. There's not one popular thing. It's a lot of everything. I see a lot of kids with piercings or tattoos, but I see them in vintage clothing is popular with the kids. Different, and there's no one certain thing. Like in the 50s and 60s, there was just a certain way that you would dress or what they had. Now anything goes, which is kind of good because I could go out with an old-fashioned suit and somebody go, wow, where'd you get that? Is that a so-and-so or whatever? Yeah, it's a vintage suit. Yeah, how old? Yeah, 30 years old or what? Vintage clothing's really popular. So that's kind of coming back too. Not that I have any vintage clothing, but wait, no, I take
You
that
are
back.
vintage clothing.
I am vintage, but no, I have, my dad has from college,
Yeah.
I think it's a 40 or 42 jacket, sport coat, wool sport coat.
Oh wow.
It's definitely 50s. It's got the old, and it's very heavy. It's a fall coat. It's a
Ooh.
winter jacket, so you
Okay.
can't wear it in the summer. So it fits me like a glove. And it's funny because my dad used to be the same size, and he goes, "Here, you want this?" I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "I've had this since the 50s." And I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yep, I wore it when I was in college." I said, "Wow." So I still have it. I haven't worn it lately. I think it still fits. It probably does. I'm losing weight instead of gaining it, but it's really neat. And I have one more. Let's see. I have a tie. It's made of rayon. When rayon came, probably from the 50s. That was my grandfather's. It's a silk tie. It's a real skinny one, from the 50s. That's vintage. So I have two pieces. We'll say I have two pieces of vintage clothing. Those two. But
I tell you what, I do
it's kind of neat.
I do like wearing old school stuff. I
Yeah,
love
it's-
I love wearing suits, but I'm almost too short to wear nice suits.
It's
Because you
it's
have to
hard.
be pretty tall, and
You do,
because the suits itself, especially with the pants
Yeah,
and the
that me too,
shoulders.
yeah. Mhm.
So if you're not tall and you're short,
Mhm.
the suit may fit, but then it looks like it's clothing you over instead of you body fitting the outfit
Yeah,
better.
yeah. It's- yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I don't wear suits, but I would love to wear. I mean, there's a New Yorker store.
Okay.
What's called the New Yorker on Easttown,
Okay.
right by where we just ate, and it's right across the street, probably right across the street of kind of cross street of Mulligan's, and
Okay.
kind of right next to that record place.
Okay.
I forget what it's called, but and Yes Dog, but.
Okay.
But basically, I love wearing stuff like that,
Mhm.
but there's never really a time and occasion for me to do that because I'm not around other,
Right.
I would call socialites, which I mean
Sure.
people who are more likely to wear outfits like doctors and nurses and maybe
Well, yeah,
lawyers.
professionals or business guys or lawyers,
Business
doctors,
guys.
judges. Yeah.
So
Okay.
a lot of times when I wear that stuff, I'm look really out of place and not.
Well,
And a lot of times, so what I do now, which is kind of weird, is like I'm like retracting back to almost like the 70s, 80s, everyday man's gear.
Right.
As you can tell, I'm wearing my CBGB
Yep.
shirt,
My
which is
t-shirt
a
too.
venue back in New York in the 70s.
We're basically jeans and t-shirt guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I am
But-
too. I always have been. But,
Yeah, but if you
know,
look
I-
at my
I
pants,
can dress up.
but if you look at my pants,
Yeah.
I'm not wearing traditional jeans.
Right.
I'm wearing like more of the slacky jeans.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it look nicer. But I'm dressing up more like if I'm from New York, kind of like I'm between the 1990s
Mhm.
and the late 1970s, early
Mhm.
80s, because a lot of my gear is more like stuff from that era, or stuff that was popular. Like now I have Vans shirts. I wear my Tigers hats. I never wore hats back in the day,
Right.
and I don't even know why I started to. And I started collecting hats because I love baseball.
Yeah. no,
But then
yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't not.
Well, you can see it there in the background over here. That's
Yeah,
a big
it's
hat
right
collection.
there. It's right
Can't
there.
miss
Oh,
it.
don't touch my
Yeah,
hats.
no hats.
So, but I didn't want to be the guy to have collecting hats
Yeah,
and
right.
never wear them.
Mhm.
So,
You
that's
know, I
kind of
thought,
crazy.
what's the point in that? Because you can wear, right now, if you wanted, you have one hat for every day of the week, every day of the month, probably, if you
Yeah.
wanted to. You could wear a different one. You got plenty of them, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, but earlier I was touching on suits and what we were covering, and I bought a suit one time at a Goodwill store in Indiana, Shipshewana as a matter of fact, and it was a pinstripe, brown pinstripe, and it was my size. I think it was a 40, 42. And it didn't quite fit. So what you do, sometimes they have tailors. You can go to a tailor. Now, some of these guys are reasonable. I'm not talking like Redwood and Ross or anything like that, or a Giovanni suit, whatever. This guy is just a little Vietnamese guy that was, well, he was in the Rivertown Crossing Mall.
Oh, yeah.
With the parking ramp, there was a little tiny room off the parking ramp underneath when you first come in to go to the movies. Right next door, Mr. Chan or something like that was a tailor. Okay, so I came in there, and because we're not made regular. We're different. Our clothes fit totally different. We're thinner or narrower in some spots than everybody else. But he tailored it for me, and the way he did it was perfect. It was beautiful. I mean, he did. I just blew me away. He goes, "I'll fix you up. I'll make it look good too. I don't half-ass it. I think I paid maybe, I don't know. I guess he took the back of the jeans and pulled them in a little bit. Maybe pulled the rear end a little bit. But he was a tailor, and he did it perfectly. Everything was proportionate, and I think I paid $35, but it was well worth it. And I felt if you're in a suit and it fits you good, you feel better. If not this ill-fitting suit, like when you pull out your hand, your sleeve's up here, or it's down here. They can particularly custom tailor that to you, which was worth the money. So that's out there still if you wanted to. So you go out buy a used suit, which you don't have to buy brand new. That's fine,
hopefully in Jergens in Chicago Drive.
Yeah, Jergens Folklore. They would probably they would do it.
Their stuff is maybe...
You know that guy, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, wow. Okay, good.
So I went to school with him. He was a couple years older than me.
Okay.
But his dad and his dad and his grandfather owned it first. But that place is relatively very... I would say it reminds me of what a lot of Hudsonville, Jenison, Granville people that go to church or have some kind of business, but that's where his customers are really at the time when I talked to him. But this is about maybe 15 years ago, so I don't know what his customer base is or how he keeps moving, but they do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think
so. I would go there if I need things grouped up and trimmed down and everything else with it. So that's about everything that we need to talk about.
Yeah, and it was that.
We talked about Ron's going to a Beckers conference in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We talked about a restaurant which is called Basalt.
Basalt, yes. Basalt, yeah.
And we talked about the records that Ron's got. We didn't get to the Stray Cats, but we'll get to the Stray Cats.
We can do that next time or two.
So we'll get to that. Then we all kind of just sidetracked about suits. Anything else we sidetracked on?
Oh God, I think it was the suits. But there's another place called, now this is, I think it's a chain, but when I was a kid, I'll briefly say this, but my dad would go to a place called Redwood and Ross, and they sold suits and ties and shoes and pants and sport coats and all that. And he'd go in there and get his suits done or buy new shirts or whatever. Kind of a fancy schmancy place. Kind of like Jergens Folklore, but this is more like a chain. But I had to add that. So that's.
So folks, I'd like to thank all of you out there listening on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. I have a podcast right now. It's about Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iBooks, or anywhere that you download your podcast. I'd like to thank Ron for coming back on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
The next time Ron probably comes back, he'll probably give me an insight of what.
I'll let you know how it went out, and it went good. Last time it did go good, but I can give you some details on that too. And people I meet, you always meet somebody new, which is great.
And maybe
so you get more friends that way.
And maybe you can let us know what any updates about.
We could. It's new stuff coming up or new therapies or what have you. There's always something new there. So I could keep you informed on that too.
And then, depending on when I air this episode, there's gonna be another new episode with Griff, my fantasy football guy. We'll talk about guys to pick up, guys to drop, everything that you know about football. We'll might even go over some games, some upsetters, but we'll go from there. I'd like to thank everyone out there that listens to the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
This is a Crazy Dre podcast show. Peace, love, and
see ya.
See ya.